Welcome to the Queen City Music Podcast, the podcast devoted to the local music scene in Charlotte, North Carolina. Now, here's your host, Matthew Ablin.
Hello, and welcome to episode 95 of the Queen City Music Podcast. This episode of the QCMP is sponsored by Midwood Guitar Studio, Charlotte, North Carolina's own boutique guitar shop located in Plaza Midwood. Midwood Guitar Studio not only has the finest selection of boutique guitars, but familiar names like Fender, Martin, Taylor, Two Rock, and many others. Whether it's a guitar, bass, amp, effects pedal, or a much-needed accessory, the knowledgeable and friendly staff at Midwood Guitar Studio will help guide you in the right direction for your next purchase. And Midwood Guitar Studio also has a luthier on staff for all your repair needs. Visit their website at midwoodguitarstudio.com or stop in to see their unique shop at 1517 Central Avenue, Charlotte, North Carolina. And I'd like to welcome our newest sponsor, Goldie's, the spot for live music and food in the heart of Charlotte's Lower South End. Goldie's offers unpretentious food like smash burgers, wraps, pizza, and my favorite, the pulled chicken quesadillas. And while enjoying food and drinks, take in the live music featuring some of Charlotte's best musical acts. The music starts Fridays at 6 p.m. and Saturdays at 5. Check out their weekly live music schedule at goldiesclt.com or stop in at 3601 South Boulevard, Charlotte, North Carolina. By the way, if you have a business and would like to become a sponsor of the podcast like our friends at Midwood Guitar Studio and Goldie's, drop me a line at qcmusicpodcast@gmail.com and I'll discuss all the information with you. And if you enjoy the podcast, drop by MatthewAblin.com, where you'll find all my upcoming performance dates, social media links, original music, and a host of other information. 2026 is off to a great start, and on this episode 95 of the QCMP, I'm pleased to be speaking with my friend, singer-songwriter Kristi Ormand. Kristi has released several new singles recently and fronts the cover group StellaRising. I sat down with her to discuss her musical history, the release of this new music, and who the Stella person actually is. Kristi Ormand, welcome to the Queen City Music Podcast.
Oh, thanks so much for having me.
So, Kristi, I got to say, it's so interesting. We've known each other for a little bit because I had heard of you before we had actually met. So I knew you did the StellaRising group. And then at some point a couple of years ago, I had a vocal hemorrhage, and our mutual friend Shannon Lee, I was looking for singers to help me out, pick up some gigs. And you were one of the people who was able to come and help me out and pick up gigs and sing with me. So if I never said it, thank you so much, because it was great to have you come in and help me out and work with you. So
Hey, thank you for giving me the opportunity to branch out too and play with other people and other outfits in the music scene.
Yeah, it's interesting. Sometimes we get so used to our own little thing that we don't get to talk to other people too much. I mean, especially we were just talking before we started recording, and I want to go see other musicians, and you're like, yep, me too, but you're playing that same night. And it's
exactly.
like, I don't get to meet anybody. So, but welcome. Thanks for coming on and talking. So let's go. First question I always ask everybody, are you originally from the Charlotte area?
No, I didn't move to Charlotte until 95. I'm from a small town in North Carolina called Gibson, which is 2 hours east of here, between here and Wilmington. That's the easiest way to explain where I am or was.
All right. And when you came down from Gibson, what brought you down? Just family, or?
Actually, I was up at Western Carolina for college in Cullowhee, and so I was there until 95. And then once I graduated, I made a couple of trips to Charlotte to check out the city.
Right.
And it just brought more opportunity to me instead of moving back home. So I landed in Charlotte and still here.
Oh, okay, cool. Now, what's your music background? Because I know you primarily as a singer. I know you play guitar and do some other stuff, but I mean, what's your background for singing? Did you start in middle school singing in choir? Were you doing it in outside organizations? How did you get into singing?
Actually, it was kind of random. I sang a little bit in church growing up, and that led me to take piano lessons when I was in first grade. So I took piano lessons for about a year and moved on from that and decided to be involved in school band. Mm-hmm. So I was in band in middle school and high school, and also in marching band.
Okay.
So I played flute, piccolo, and I dabbled in with French horn just a little bit.
Sweet. Got those woodwind instruments going.
Yeah.
And, what French horn is that's brass, right? The brass instrument? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's great. Do you utilize those in any of your current music? Like, do you still play flute or anything like that? Added in some tracks?
I have not. I still have my original flute.
That's awesome.
And it actually needs some repairs. And I've opened it up a couple of times, but my memory is kind of fuzzy.
I bet you if you opened it up, you some stuff might start coming back and you might not realize it.
Yeah, it's definitely on the radar. It's been sitting there. I need to revisit.
There you go. So when did you start getting into rock music? So you're in school and you're singing in church and you're in band in school. Did you sing in rock bands when you were in high school or middle school?
Oddly enough, no.
Huh.
I didn't get involved in live music for myself until my early mid-30s.
Oh, wow.
So it was much later in life.
Okay.
Because I was on the path of my career with college and moving to Charlotte and just trying to, pursue my path in accounting and finance. Yeah. So
you mean a more stable income?
So things kind of, recircle. I revisited music. It was odd because I was doing some modeling.
Mm-hmm.
I was working with a talent agency, and she heard my voice on a voicemail, and she said, "I love your inflection. You really need to look into doing voiceover work."
Great.
And so I pursued a small studio in Charlotte, and that was my intent, was to work on a demo for a voiceover. And then I started taking voice lessons, and then voice lessons led to my love for singing again. So that's kind of how that resurfaced.
I got to tell you, that's an idea I've always kind of flirted with having done podcasting, several friends would be like, "Oh, you got a great voice. You should try this kind of not necessarily voice acting, but voiceover kind of stuff." And it's something I've kind of thought about doing and kind of pursuing a little bit. But it's as like anything else. Apparently, there's I wouldn't even say a learning curve, but there's a financial portion of it. Like you follow people on YouTube, and they're like, "Oh, we'll give you coachings, and it's going to be so much money." And I always feel like, man, I know probably they're good people, but I always feel like it's a little scammy in a certain way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough because it's like, "Oh, we'll do a demo for you, but before we do the demo, we're gonna have to do lessons for the next year and a half, and then when you might be ready." And I'm like,
right.
Okay, and that there's no guarantee of work coming out of it. That's the other part. At least with music, you can sing your way in, and you can get a gig on your own. You don't need somebody to ask to do it for you. So
right. So needless to say, a demo did not come out of all of that.
Okay. So did you do any? You didn't pursue it at all. After a while, you just went into the music.
Yeah, I mean my passion and my path changed. I did a couple of jingles, but that's not really voiceover. But it's something I still might be interested in. I just haven't pursued it.
Got you.
So,
so you're doing the voiceover stuff. What is the moment when you start to get back into music and start to pursue the singing?
Well, I started taking the voice lessons, and we started recording just small little demos of covers, and then I decided I wanted to start writing music, and so I was still working with the studio, and James Harden, he was the individual that I was working with, and he introduced me to some local musicians.
Okay.
And because I was wanting to try to start doing some professional recordings, and so one of the first people I met was Mike Grassi.
Okay. Yeah, I know Mike.
And Dave Haywood, he was on my demo also as lead guitarist, and Mike did drum tracks. And so Mike and we developed a rapport, and he introduced me to other musicians that led me to my lead guitarist, Tony Oliver Paul. And so that kind of was the beginning of StellaRising.
Okay. So you meet Tony and you start doing Stella and you start putting the band together. I got to ask, because I think I asked you before and I forgot like the story. What is that name? What is the StellaRising? Because your name's not Stella. Is it is somebody Stella?
I know. It's funny because, well, Tony and I, we didn't have the name established. We started collaborating and writing music together. I would write lyrics and do my little voice recording of melody.
Yeah.
And he and I would get together and he would do the music part of it, and we would collaborate and put the song together, and then we presented it to the other musicians to go into the studio, which was not whole recording, where I recorded the first EP. But interestingly enough, StellaRising was Mitch and I sitting around experimenting with silly wordplay.
Mitch being your husband. Yeah.
And I kind of I wanted to be a little more unique than just using my name.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to put a positive spin on it. And I liked astronomy, and StellaRising was really what it should be.
Interesting.
I wanted to share the R, and I thought it would be kind of cool for branding and logo.
Mm-hmm.
But oddly enough, everyone started calling it StellaRising because they thought I was Stella.
Stella!
Exactly. I got that.
Yeah. Oh, that's hysterical.
So, kindly I would say, no, I'm not Stella.
That's interesting. I like that. That's a great story. Interesting part for me is that having known you for a bit and seen you on, Facebook before I had met you and the StellaRising group, I didn't know that you guys had put out recordings.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was doing just a little bit of research to find out a little bit more about your background, to, see where we wanted to go in the podcast, I was like, I didn't even know that. So go through these EPs for me. So you have the first EP, was that Motion?
Yes.
Okay, and you did that one at Not Whole Studios.
We did. Boo English owns Not Whole.
Okay.
Super talented guy. He's so easy to work with. And that was our first EP. Like, we started mostly original. That's how we came onto the music scene.
Okay.
Because we were collaborating with writing, and my thought was, we're writing these songs. We need to find venues, or I wanted to find venues to perform these songs.
Sure.
And so 2010 is when that EP was released, and we made the full band lineup.
How many songs were on the first EP?
5.
Okay. And is it straight up kind of rock stuff?
It was kind of in my rock, a little pop punk.
Okay.
A variety.
Now, when you start putting out the music, is you say 2010, and the EP comes out, what's the music scene in Charlotte? That's 15 years ago, 16 years ago. It's a completely different scene than it is now. What was the scene like in Charlotte when you were here at that time?
Well, like I said, when I was first doing my research on performing in original venues, what landed my spark was we were asked to play in a battle of the bands.
Okay.
Last Band Standing was the name of it, and it was at Amos's. And so, wow, I was like, okay, I'm like really going out here.
Yeah, that's great.
Big stage, the first time, new band.
And if you're a new person listening, Amos's used to be like twice the size it currently is. It was a much bigger venue.
Yeah. And so there were other venues that are no longer here in Charlotte.
Like Double Door.
Double Door, we play there a few times. Chop Shop over in Noda was a great venue. We did play the neighborhood theater.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was vibrant at the time.
Was it more of an original scene at the time, or was there still a lot of covers happening? Do you remember?
Well, we were still doing covers too,
okay.
but mostly originals.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, there were a lot of cover acts out there as well. But I was kind of maneuvering through trying to get my feet wet in the original scene. So how
do you find the scene now? I always seem to feel as vibrant of a scene that we have here in Charlotte is kind of fragmented. Like there is a original group scene, and I don't know a lot of those guys. And then there's the cover group scene, which is covers. There's bands, and then there's a lot of folks who do what I do, acoustic stuff. I tend to know a lot more of the acoustic-based people in that scene, and I don't run in the bands. Like I've heard of some of the bands, but I don't know many of the folks in any of those. How is that? How's the scene feel for you? Because you run the gamut now. You're doing the band thing with StellaRising, and then you're a little bit. We'll talk later about branching out on your own and doing the solo acoustic stuff. What's the scene like for you? Do you know a lot of the folks in both those areas and even the original stuff?
Kind of, it's a nice little variety, and especially with me doing some of the solo songwriter showcases, I've met a lot more original artists, and it's been actually refreshing to hear new music. So there are a lot of indie artists out there, and it's been nice to be able to meet
other people, in that same genre. Are they doing solo acoustic stuff, like for their original stuff, since they're doing the songwriter circles, or is it they full blown songs that they've just watered? I don't want to say watered down. They've taken the essentials down and just played it as a singer songwriter. Is that a lot of it?
Well, some of them are still playing shows and mixing their originals in with covers.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I think it's a nice mix.
Okay. All right. Well, let's jump ahead a little bit. So you got the first EP that you do at StellaRising. You did that Motion at Knot Hall, and then you've got Karma. How long till Karma comes out after Motion?
We released Karma in 2013. We recorded that at GAT3. I just wanted to try a different studio. No personal reason. Just experimenting around. Just a new experience.
Right.
And so we decided to go to GAT3 to do that next EP.
Same band members for that EP? Writing with Tony?
I was still working with Tony. And I had Mike Grassi was on that EP, and
Sorry, I'm taking you way back to remember everybody.
I know,
everybody you're playing with. That's okay. We can look at the album and check the studio, see all the members. How many tracks are on that one?
5.
Another 5. Okay, and then the third EP comes out, and that's StellaRising. And you do that at Blackbird Studios, but you went down to Nashville this time. Why switch from a Charlotte studio to go down to Nashville?
Well, we played a couple of shows in Nashville, and I thought, well, I just wanted to take a tour of Blackbird just to, as a little fun trip. And so we did take a short tour, and I just kept in touch with them, and the opportunity came. And they said, we do bands through the academy. They come in and record. And so I talked to the band. For this one, it was Tony, Chad on drums, and Victor Hahn on bass.
Okay.
I was like, guys, you want to go to Nashville? They're like, sure. So we were there for, I think, 4 or 5 days.
Okay.
So that was really a great experience.
Another 5 songs? Mm-hmm. That's awesome. And when did that one come out?
That was 2016.
Oh, wow. Okay. Because I'm thinking ahead, there's more stuff we'll talk about in a bit, but you just released some new singles. So you hadn't released anything since 2016, since that last EP with StellaRising then?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It was a long stretch. And I had been writing. I did a lot of writing during COVID. And at that time, I was in the middle of guitar lessons. And that was my new goal, was to take lessons and start trying to write the music myself. Since I was already writing the lyrics and already had that melody in mind. And so those songs come from that kind of period in time, me writing and putting chord progressions together.
Yeah. Do you have a home studio that you do recording with at all, just to put together demos or anything?
Yeah, I just use GarageBand, and I
Okay.
still do my voice recorder once I write lyrics, and so I still keep it simple.
So what's your process for songwriting? Are you these days are you doing more of your own stuff, or are you still working with Tony and other singer songwriters to write?
I'm still doing like my own writing, kind of my same process.
Yeah.
I usually have an idea in mind, an experience, or, some kind of word or catchphrase that just sparks my creativity. And so I usually write the lyrics first. Then I have a melody in mind, so I'll do that on the voice recorder. And then it's like rewrite.
Okay, so you don't come up with the chord changes first, and then it strikes a melody, and then you come up with the words.
I've always been lyrics.
That's so interesting.
Because that's what I did when I was collaborating with Tony,
Right.
Oliver Paul. I was mostly the lyricist.
Did he have the chord changes that you had to hear first, or?
Like I said, usually I would just kind of sing and maybe strum on guitar, but nothing really extravagant on guitar.
Yeah.
And so he would take what I would have, just the bare bones,
Yeah.
and he would build on that.
Yeah. Oh, wow. So it's always interesting to me because when I've written my songs, and a lot of people I talk to, normally, I shouldn't even say normally because everybody's process is different. For me, I might have a line or a phrase or something like that, and I'll write it down. But a lot of times I'm coming up with the chords, and as I'm coming up with the chord changes for something, then I start hearing a melody, and then I'll start hearing the words on top of it. It's kind of rare that I will hear the words first and then have to take those words, fit them to a melody, and then fit them over a chord change. It for me, it's a different process, and I'm always real curious what the writing process is for everybody else. So when you're writing lyrics, do you have essentially a songbook that you're writing down stuff? Do you have are you in your phone, writing down notes all the time?
I'm so chaotic.
There's no one way.
I mean, sometimes I might have, in the past, I've had sticky notes and just random stuff everywhere. And so Mitch, he bought me several journals, and I tried to reel it in and write in the journals. But then, my ideas just kind of, they're random, and I might not have that journal with me. So I've got to find something else.
There you go. Now, do you have a lot of stuff that's segments of lyrics of songs, or do you abandon stuff? Like, I know, like, I'll start writing something, I'm like, oh, I got the first verse. Yeah, I don't know what to come after that. I'm lost.
I do have a few songs like that where I start, and it's like I don't want to put too much pressure on the creativity, and I just shelve it for a while, and then something might spark later on if I decide to revisit that. Yeah.
Have you ever gone back to a song from like that you did years ago and then turn it into something? Has that ever happened?
Oh, I've rewritten. I've changed melodies. I've done some things.
It's definitely a craft. You're definitely crafting with it. It's almost like clay sometimes when you're writing songwriting. I don't like that line. I don't like that word. Let's change this. Let's add that. Oh my goodness. So I'm thinking now, we're talking about the songwriting process for you. And I know we've been touching on this songwriting circles. But before we get into the songwriting circles a little bit more and talk more about songwriting, StellaRising, have you guys always been like a modular group? Because I've noticed lately, looking at social media, seeing what you're doing, You guys are doing duos and things like that. Has it always been modular, or is that more of a recent occurrence? Because I don't play in full bands very often, and I know sometimes that's a little more of a struggle for people in Charlotte to find venues that are going to hire and pay for a fuller band. And it's easier sometimes for us to play as a solo act or even a duo, possibly a trio, and squeeze into a smaller area to play. So for StellaRising, is that something you guys have always done? You and Tony just gone out and do duos?
Well, when we started, it was the duo in the beginning, and then we decided to extend the lineup in 2010 to a full band. We were up to a 5-piece for a minute.
Wow.
We had keys also with us, and but I thought, when we started incorporating more cover shows, I thought it was a good business idea to try to offer a variety,
right,
based on what the venue preferred.
Okay.
So that's kind of where that came out of starting out as the duo.
All right, so you started as a duo, and then morphed into the fuller band, and then you still go back and revisit the smaller thing to accommodate each venue that you're playing at. And I've noticed lately, since you've been doing more songwriting, that you're out more doing solo stuff.
Yeah.
So what's that push about?
Yeah, well, I started taking guitar lessons in 2017. My whole intent there was to really work on, improving my chops and writing my own music with guitar, with the chord structures and progressions. And so that led to, adding some cover songs and just kind of playing around with that. And it took me a while to get my confidence up, but Mitch was like, okay, you're putting in all this effort.
Right.
You should really start taking your guitar out. And so I did a little bit with the duo. Tony Rogers is now the lead guitarist that I play with. And so I have taken the guitar out to some of the duo shows and a few of the band shows. But then I was like, well, I'm doing duo, some trio, not a lot of trio, but duo, trio, and band. Why not add solo?
Right.
So it was a new challenge.
Right.
It took me a long time to really push myself to get out there, but I'm playing some cover shows now solo.
That's awesome. I know we talked a bit earlier about it before we started recording, and there's when you're first getting out doing it on your own, there's a little bit of a mental gymnastics.
Yes.
That you have to walk through. What were some of the things that you were just kind of going through in your head, going from a band or even having supporting people? What was that like in your own head?
Since I'd been doing the duo and all the other configurations, it becomes autopilot, and now adding another layer, and it's all on you.
Yeah.
And that was very scary. Just, some of the minor, like, oh, do I sound okay out here? How many times do I need to tune my guitar? It's just so many mind games going on. But I just think I just need to keep plugging away and keep playing live to make it a little easier.
Yeah, I think your confidence builds the more you do it. And it helps, I think, even more build you up as a performer.
Yes.
Because you're not reliant on other people. I know for me, I started as a classical guitarist. Well, I started as a rock guitar player, but when I went to classical, and classical guitar was one of those things, just was a nerve-wracking art, because I didn't like people sitting there staring at me while I played in absolute silence. And, my hands would shake and all that kind of thing. And then when I came back to playing rock, and I was playing in Charlotte with my friend John in our duo, I became so reliant on having somebody else there for banter, back and forth on the mic, or playing with and covering me if I made a mistake, or vice versa. And then when I decided, this happy accident happened, I went out and started doing solo shows. There was definitely some mental games going on where you're like, can I do this by myself? What happened? Do I need somebody else? I'm so used to having that support system there.
Yeah.
And it's all on you.
Yes.
Yes. You make a mistake, how do I fill the mic time?
Yep.
And then you have to figure out the songs that you can do. Maybe not in your case because you were the singer for StellaRising, but maybe the case is what you can play that Tony did, but you can't play the guitar as good as Tony. And for me, it was like, I can't sing those high ranges that John could sing, so I can't do those songs.
Right.
Or if I could change the key, but I'm not going to,
Right.
So how do you pick the rep that you're going to do when you're doing your stuff? Is it kind of figuring out which songs that you're going to be able to strum through and do?
Yes, because I'm basically a rhythm guitar player. I'm not a fancy lead person.
Yeah.
So, I do include some of my originals.
Mm-hmm.
That the more current ones. I wanted to make them a little simpler so that I can play them.
Yeah.
And then of course I do some of the songs that I do in the duo also.
Yeah.
But it's just making it your own.
Sure.
And like you said, with mistakes, it's like, the beauty of playing the solo, if you do make a mistake, you can be creative and add your own flair and, they'll never know.
And sometimes you make that mistake, people just think that's the way,
Right.
you're doing it, It's, I don't think people realize the amount of change that goes into making that switch from band or group format to doing a solo stuff. When you first start doing it, it's really weird.
Yeah.
And it's really scary.
Yes.
And there's there's a mental game that goes on in your head of how to do it. But as I said, I think it makes you a better performer because then you start to get to know yourself a little bit better. You start to build yourself up and what you're able to handle and build up your own repertoire of stuff that you do.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty neat. What's your current setup like? What kind of guitar are you using? What's your PA setup like? What are you using?
With the solo?
Yeah.
I use one of my smaller QSCs for a main. I still use a monitor. Sometimes I use my bows.
Okay. In
smaller venues. I try to keep it very simple.
It just has to fill the room a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And like sometimes you don't even have to be loud. I mean, you just have to be almost sometimes a little bit louder than straight up acoustic, because I've played places, and I'm sure you have too, where they're like, oh, no, you got to turn down. We just kind of want this. You're almost exclusively background.
Right.
Where you almost think sometimes, well, why are you having me here? Like, you don't even need me loud.
Mm-hmm.
I just need to plug in, turn my guitar up a hair.
Right.
So it's really interesting the way that works out.
Yeah, that was another stressful moment of, you run sound for your duo. You have that set in place. You know exactly with the venues that you're playing. And now all of a sudden it's like, it's all on you to get the sound right. Yep. It's trying to step out in front. How's my mic sound? I'm not sure that I know, but I hope.
I think for me, what I found is I went wireless, and I have a little system that I used for my guitar, so that I can't do the mic because the mic isn't wireless, but I can play guitar, walk around with my wireless, and then check the sound around the room to see how loud I am, so I'm not too loud. And then since I have the monitor in front of me, you can test your volume on your mic over that. Be like, okay, this will work for me. So, I'm just curious, are you straight up guitar into PA, or are you using a little pedal board at all, using some effects like some chorus and reverb or things like that?
I do have some pedals, but I haven't taken them out
Okay.
live. I'm pretty much just straight in guitar to the board.
Yeah. You're not me with like a whole mess of pedals to pluck and fill out the sound.
I know I need to carve out some time. I do have a harmonizer. We talked about that when I was working with you. So I did invest in one of those, but I haven't taken it out to a show yet.
I think they're fun, and that's one reason I like the pedal board. If you ever decide to even just throw in, some different effects to stuff, I think it just breaks up the sound, because I think for me, and I've seen people who do everything. I mean, just straight up acoustic, great. And then other people who are like me, or even go farther than me with the effects they use. I'm like, I just think if you can add a little something extra, it changes what somebody's listening to. Like, oh, what's that? It perks up an ear.
Yeah.
And the harmony pedal is real neat, because it's so funny how many people walk up to me and they're like, I thought there was somebody else on stage with you. I heard more than one person, or it just adds that extra layer of sound that breaks up the song for people. So I'm curious, we're talking about doing the solo stuff. Which came first? You doing more writing and starting to release newer music now? Or was it the push to come out and do solo? Do you know what I mean? So I know you had to start writing stuff, and then you started coming out and doing songwriter circles and doing solo stuff. Or did you just start more recently pushing the solo stuff, and that started pushing you to do more write original stuff more recently?
Well, when I started taking guitar lessons, that was my intent, was to write more songs that I could play on guitar.
Yeah.
So I've always written throughout the whole process.
Okay.
So just the newer batch of material, it kind of went hand in hand with kind of the path that I started taking to potentially to go out and do some solo and some songwriter rounds.
So let's talk jump into some of the newer stuff that you've been writing. Recently, you've dropped a few different songs. You got 3 that came out recently. Did you have Cruel Summer came out?
Yes, Cruel Summer was the first release of 2025. We recorded 6 songs when we were at Old House Recording Studio back in March of 2025. And so Cruel Summer was the first one that came along with a video release in August.
That's awesome. And who was Tony playing on that, or did you just have a whole bunch of other local musicians playing?
No, Tony wasn't on that. Dan Hood was the lead guitarist.
Okay.
And Carrie Brooks was on bass, and Chad, my drummer, who's been with me for years, he was on drums and percussion.
Okay. I think I met Dan a long time ago when I think he was at Midwood Guitar Studio when they first opened. I think he was manager there for a time. I'm not sure. I think that is who I'm talking about. So when this song came out, you went into the studio in Old House and you're doing all this. How did this song come about? Did you write all these songs as a collection, or were you going in and writing just individual songs and recording them one at a time?
Well, like I said, I kind of wrote a lot of songs around 2018 to 2020, around COVID. 2018 was when I wrote Cruel Summer, and that was a culmination of that year and the prior year. My parents were aging and major health issues, and there were some, heavy moments going on. The band was kind of going their separate ways, so the lineup was about to change, and that was the bulk of that song. Okay.
And did you write the other 2 recent releases along that same time period, or were they after?
Yeah, Trampled Heart, I believe, was in 2019. That was a different experience, though. Mitch and I were in Nashville, and we were downtown at a bar, and I actually wrote that song in real time. I was sitting at the end of the bar,
right,
and a lady to my right at the end on the other side, she was going through a heartbreak. And I felt bad for writing about her pain, but, I sat there and I'm like, I got to write.
Yeah.
So I just pulled out something out of my purse and I just started writing. Mitch had gone down to a gift shop and he said, I'll be right back. And so when he came back, he's like, oh, okay.
You're already done. You wrote this whole thing.
So I wrote majority, it was random, just notes.
Yeah.
And so when we came back to Charlotte, I put the song together and it took a little bit of time. I later on had added another section to the song.
Right.
But that was the second release in 2025. I released that one in October.
I think is it Trampled Heart? Because I remember talking to you some time ago when we first started playing together.
Yeah.
And you were helping me, and I was like, can I just mess around? Because I was in my studio recording.
Yes.
And really messing with stuff.
Yes.
All right. That
absolutely.
was a tune. That's
yeah.
awesome. I remember sending it back to you. And
You did.
You're like, no, change that rhythm. Nope, do this, do that. I'm like, okay, let's do this. And I was like, no, man, it's great. It's just, it got me really pushing and learning my gear.
Yeah, it sounded great. And I put the song on the back burner. Actually, I was really trying to get back into the original songs.
Yeah.
And so I had put that on the back burner. I wanted to get back into the studio, but then things kept coming up. And so I think that was like 2023. And so 2 years later.
Yeah. Where did you record this at Old House too?
Yes.
I've heard it. Did you hear that they're closing up, I believe?
We were actually one of the last artists who recorded there.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
sad. It was sad. That was the first time I'd ever recorded there, and I'm glad I was able to be part of that era.
Are they officially closed now? Do you know?
As far as I know.
Oh, it's so sad. It's a Charlotte staple. Wow,
Yes.
it was a Charlotte staple for a long time.
Yes.
Before I forget, so Trampled Heart on 2nd Avenue. You recorded Old House. Who are the players on that particular recording?
The same lineup: Dan, Carrie, and Chad.
Okay. Did you go back and forth with them on the arrangements, like knowing exactly? I mean, I know you have the melody and the lyrics and chord changes, and you're like, this is the way it's going to go. But are they adding stuff in there that you talk to the arrangements about, or did they come up with arrangements, or did you have somebody producing the song for you?
Well, I sent them rough demos of what I had recorded originally, just very, bare bones. And so they kind of learned the song. I sent them charts.
Yeah.
And we had one rehearsal. And so we got together, it was like a day or so before we recorded. And so we kind of sat down and went through the songs, and they added a few, their own little spins.
Yeah.
But they had the structure, and so we collaborated, and like I said, it was a pretty quick process.
How long did it take you to record the song?
We were there for, I think we did 2 days of tracking.
Okay. That's awesome. Can we take a listen?
Sure.
All right, we're going to take a listen to Trampled Heart on 2nd Avenue by Kristi Ormand.
I'm at the corner of this bar, watching a world fall apart, and I saw this fall. He made the call and he severed her heart. She's glued to her phone,
Kristi, I love the final version of that track. I mean, I remember hearing kind of in its infancy, and the way it's come out, it's really fantastic. You should be really proud.
Thank you.
So you're taking this song, and is this one of the songs that you are doing as acoustic in the songwriters rounds?
Yes.
Okay. How many songs do you do in total when you go out and do original stuff in the songwriter rounds?
The last round I played, it was 40 or 45 minutes.
Of original stuff?
Just total. I think I did a couple of covers.
Okay.
So in that time frame, it was majority of originals.
So like on the average, like, I mean, I have an EP and people ask me to come do them, but I'm like, I only got like 3-4 songs that I could do. I was like, it would be really tough to, fill it. How many average songs do you do that are, if you're filling, with originals and some covers, how many do you normally do that are original versus the covers in a round?
Really, I mean, the one I mentioned that I did a couple of covers on, that particular round is called Influences and Originals, which is cool because you pick songs that inspire you as a songwriter, or other artists who inspire you to write what you're writing. So that gives you a chance to showcase your music and then highlight those songs that you really like.
Okay.
But other rounds, my goal is to play all originals.
I'm going to have to hit you up and find out about that originals and influences, because I would love to do one. And,
Yeah, Paul Lever. Paul Lever is the host, and he's great.
I know that name.
He's a great supporter of the scene. And he does that at the Wine Loft. The first one I did was at the Comet Grill, so that was cool to be able to play at the Comet. But the Wine Loft is in South End.
Okay.
And he does that.
Yeah, I think I played there once. Pretty cool little spot.
Yeah, it is.
How do you enjoy some of the singer-songwriter stuff? Is it a real push to as a soloist, and then also the original stuff? Is that really does it give you a real kick? Like, hey, I'm not only out here on my own, I'm also doing my own original stuff.
Yeah, it's just it's really nice to go out and support other artists, and in those rounds you get to hear their music and their style and vibe, and everyone's so supportive of each other, and it's a good way to meet new people and introduce your music to them and vice versa. So it's been great.
Is there a good listening crowd there? Like, I know, we go play in bars and breweries and things like that, and a lot of times we are background music. The people aren't specifically there for you, but when there's a singer-songwriter session, is that something where you have a very good listening crowd? Like, they're specifically there for that to check out?
The ones that I've been in I've gotten positive feedback. People are there to listen. Like one show that I did at the Rooster in Gastonia, it was more of like a festival, but it was geared for women in music and arts.
Right.
And so I opened the show. I did an original set, and I was just blown away at how engaged the audience is. And so it's very encouraging.
That's awesome. I love hearing that people are going out and doing a lot more original stuff. It's because we know, having played in the scene for a while, Charlotte is, even though there's an original music scene, it seems to be more of a cover tribute band dominant scene that we have here.
Right.
And I think there's a lot of musicians that I know who would love to see more original stuff. But it's also, in a sense, it's a double-edged sword, because if you were to go get a gig at a bar or a brewery and you could play original stuff, we'd be hard-pressed, most of us, to be able to play 3 hours of original music. I mean, there's a few bands in town that I know could cover 3 hours of original stuff. They could do an original show, an hour, maybe 45 minutes or what have you, or multiple people on the bill, but that would be tough. But I think it would be a great thing for our scene to have, and for music in general, period, to have a larger original scene happening.
Yeah.
So you also have this other recent release that just came out. talking about original stuff. Gray.
Yeah, Gray is a little more recent. I believe I wrote that in 2023. It was just basically a reflection of just the challenges as an artist.
Okay.
You know, the rejections and I just thought it was just a good way to kind of release some of the frustrations that have occurred over the years just in the music industry. And it's tough.
Anything specific you mean? That's like just, do you mean local industry, or do you mean just in general, the music industry and promotion, that kind of thing?
Yeah, there's so many things to juggle, and we kind of talked about with bookings and just sometimes you don't feel like you're moving forward. And when you do feel like you're moving forward, then you're back in this place that you're confused. And, and then there's also, like, over the years, we had changes in the band, and that was tough because I had a really close relationship with the original members. And so it's had its challenges.
Sure.
And it just came about, like I said, a couple of years ago, and just kind of when you're at a low point, I thought, well, this is a great way to kind of release some of the things that have gone on over the years.
Yeah. Did you know that when you were writing the song? Because there's one or two songs that I wrote on my EP that I didn't figure out till later. Like I wrote it all and I was like, oh, this is nice. And then it really hit me at some point after the songs were finished. I was like, oh, this is kind of what it's about. It's really just cathartic, you know, and you start to like dig into what it means to you. Was that something you knew at the time writing it, or did you realize it like later, the thoughts behind it?
I kind of knew at the time, but I did try to make it a little broad so that other people could take that song and maybe fit it into whatever struggles they're having. Yeah. Just being an artist in general, it's challenging and it can be frustrating, but you still have to keep plugging, you know. Yeah. If it's your passion. So I thought, well, anyone with any kind of drive or passion, if there's something that they're trying to gear towards, there will be highs and lows. Yeah. And you just have to keep pushing, knocking down doors. And that's what I've been doing for, since 2009.
There you go. That's the truth. Because I definitely want to talk to you more about just industry kind of stuff and things that we have to do for the business aspect of performing. But I do want to listen to Gray. Before we do, is this another one? Did you record it at Old House with the same group of folks, with Dan Hood and the other players?
Yes.
Awesome. All right, well, let's take a listen to Gray by Kristi Ormand. It's her latest release.
Just when you feel you're on your way.
Kristi, I love this track too.
Thank
You
you.
sound so awesome on this.
Thank you.
It's one thing I loved when I was performing with you, not even just hearing your stuff, but I love your voice and your energy that you put into performances. It's always good.
Thank you so much.
I'm just curious. Now you've released these 3 songs, right, as singles. Are they going to be part of a larger EP? Are you going to put them together as an EP, or did you purposely just choose to release singles one at a time this year?
Right now, I'm releasing them as singles. I still have 3 more songs.
Oh, wow.
So I haven't decided if I was going to squeeze one more in 2025 or push it to January. So my thought was I wanted to highlight each song. I've not done that before. Just give them their own attention individually, and then potentially release a bundle as an EP of all the songs.
Is there a thought when you're doing it previously of why? I mean, I know you wanted to highlight each one you're saying, because I know like a lot of musicians today, we struggle with that thought when you're releasing stuff. Should I release an album? Should I release just a couple, a reduced amount as an EP? And should I reduce it, just start doing what you're doing is sprinkling and releasing singles, and then maybe at some point, put it together as a package? Is that something you put a lot of thought into before as you had all the songs together that you wanted to release?
Originally, I thought, well, I'll just release singles.
Right.
But now I kind of do have a title in mind if I were to do an EP.
Okay.
So, like I said, I still have the 3 left, and I figured we'll be consistent and give each one their own individual attention, and and then do the EP.
Okay, because I know sometimes when people record or we write songs, the reason that they'll release them as a quote unquote set is because they kind of fit together.
Yeah.
Because you wrote them at a similar time period and things happening. And as musicians, if you're writing original music, maybe a lot of people listening don't realize it, but the songs seem to fit together because that's at a certain point in your life. They mark a certain period. And then let's say you record 2 or 3 years later, you may be at a different point in your life. And those songs fit together better. So do you find that these songs, I think I answered my own question, but if you put them as a package, do you find they would fit together as a nice little package together as an EP?
I do. At least 5 of the songs, I feel like there is a flow with 5 of the 6 songs.
Yeah.
And the order, I think, makes sense as far as the releases. The 6th song is kind of more of a rock and roll song.
Yeah.
For fun.
Okay.
Kind of going back to one of the songs from Motion, actually Motion, that's kind of a follow-up song. So I think they would blend together nicely as an EP.
Okay. I'm going to jump back to the first song we talked about, Cruel Summer, because I just remembered I didn't get to it, but I looked at your website. You have a video for it.
I do.
How did the video come about? And what was that like doing? I've only done lyric videos. I've never done a video with me featured in it. How did it come about? Whose idea was it? Who was doing the shooting? Was that shot in Charleston? Does it look like?
Yeah, we shot that in Charleston, downtown, and also in Folly Beach.
Okay.
Just the title itself kind of lended the location.
Right.
And the person who directed and did the video was Wes Cobb from West Art Video. He's super awesome.
Are they here? He's here in Charlotte? Or
He's local, and he's done a couple of other of my videos in years past.
Okay.
And I thought, it's been 9 years since I've released a song, so I thought it would be right to come out with the new song and video. So the first person I reached out to was Wes. And so we collaborated, and he was like, Charleston is just the shots in Charleston made sense for the storyline.
what's the process like for doing the video? You say storyline. Are you coming up with it? Does Wes have an idea of, hey, yeah, I listened to the song, here's what I think? Do you have to storyboard it out? How does that all work? I don't know anything about that.
So I sent the song to Wes, and he listened to it and did his homework and asked me some questions. And he presented ideas to me. Okay. And I trust Wes. He's a huge creative. So I was like, sure, we're going to make this happen. So we're going to Charleston.
Nice. And then does he locate the actors? Because there's people in the video besides you. Does he find them to put them in?
He did know a couple that they actually ended up, I believe they got married in Charleston area, which was kind of interesting, but they weren't there during the shooting part. The other part of the filming was in Charlotte, their scenes. So he was able to cast them to help us out.
Very cool. How long was the shooting process for you? Because I'm sure you didn't have to do the same day shoot that the other people did. He could shoot that all separately and then edit together. How long was your part that you were doing?
We were there a couple of days.
Oh, really?
So not the entire time, but the first day was the bulk of the filming. Okay. And then the second half of the next day was at the beach. It was that morning, and then by lunchtime or 1 or something like that, we were heading back. So
that's awesome. It came out really nice. I enjoyed it. Because like I said, when I did videos for mine, I just did lyric videos. I kind of cheated. I was like, no, I'm just going to.
Lyric videos are great too.
Yeah. But I mean, maybe one day I'll do something, something more. But I know a couple other bands and guys in town that have done, performance videos and full-length videos like you have, and it's really wonderful to see that us creatives like that, it's not something that we've just given up on. People still feel that it's a thing. Particularly since somebody posted on Facebook the other day that MTV is done, or at least in the States it's done.
I saw that. How disheartening.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess on a certain level, they weren't really doing music videos much anymore anyway. Yeah. So the whole world is just kind of, it's funny.
Shifting.
Yeah. I mean, thinking about it, growing up, it's like MTV wasn't a thing. And then when I was a kid, it became the thing. And it was a thing for so many years. And now, nobody watches it anymore. It's done.
Oh, sad.
Yeah, it is. It is. Let's go into being a creative in town, because we kind of talked about that a little earlier, and I want to kind of mine that a little bit. So you kind of alluded to it. How do you find it? Do you struggle with that effort of being the business person, musician, the social media person for Kristi, and the musician, and all these things? Because, we have to wear all these different hats today. How is it for you? Do you struggle a little bit like a lot of us?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
My biggest challenge is social media. Okay. I really need to get up to speed, and but I do the day job, so kind of juggling that on top of managing everything with StellaRising. It can be a little overwhelming. Booking is also a challenge.
Are you doing primarily the booking for StellaRising as well as your solo stuff?
Yes, I do both.
Okay.
I work with a couple of different agents, but majority of the bookings are me.
That's always fun. So are you I just love talking to people about this kind of stuff. I am the type of person where I try to be consistent, where there's at least, if not every day, there's at least 3 to 4 days a week I send out, 5 to 10 emails. And of course, if I'm at a place, I will, go talk to folks. Are you disciplined with yourself to do certain amount of emails or send out information each day?
I used to be pretty hardcore early on. And especially the past year, I kind of went through a little bit of a burnout. Okay. It's frustrating. Yeah. You're trying to find the best window of time to book shows, and it's usually you're either faced against no response or we're already booked out. You just can't find that perfect window to fit with the venue, but
if you get a response.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's a tough thing, and I don't think too many people realize it, but a lot of musicians in our current environment we all deal with it. We're all the social media expert. We're all the booker. We're all the performer. So when you're doing all this, it's all on you. And most of us, we don't like to say it, but I mean, we do. Most of us have some kind of day position, day job that we go to do it, because music is a very tough industry to just make it, straight ahead. And if you do, that's wonderful for you, but it's very tough to just do it as a full-time gig, particularly if you're just performing, right? Do you find that it's tough to find fuller band gigs for StellaRising? Or is it tougher for the duo stuff? Because I always thought that, and I don't know, but fuller band stuff is tougher because you want to get a certain payment for the fuller band. And you or I doing solo stuff or even duo stuff that you do with Tony, you can squeeze into a smaller spot in a bar. Is that easier for you or tougher for the band stuff? How's that relate?
It's been interesting. It seems like each year it presents a different outlay. Like I've done a few more band gigs over the past year or two. Yeah. Which I always enjoy doing band gigs. But like you said, sometimes some of the venues, their budget doesn't necessarily meet what we feel like we should be paid. So that doesn't always work out. But some of the concert series and some of the festivals, those tend to work better for the band. But I still do a few bar gigs with the band. But mostly it's been duo shows throughout the year. Okay. And then, of course, now I'm adding the solo shows.
What's what's your percentage, would you say, or what would you like to do? Would you like to do more solo stuff during the year? Would you like to do more band stuff, or just kind of an equal mix for yourself?
I kind of like to keep it at a mix. It gives me a variety. Yeah. And every configuration has a different vibe. Sure. So I like that mixture.
Yeah. I had told my friend John, we had played a couple of weeks ago down at Great Wagon Road, and we hadn't played in a while, and I was like, man, this is fun. I miss playing a duo sometimes, but there's also that financial thing that we all go through where, you're going to probably make a little bit more as a soloist than you will in a band or a duo for the evening. So that's always kind of a struggle for me. Sometimes it's like, well, I could do this and I could do that, but this is more fun, but this, I make a little bit more money. I can buy groceries. Yeah. What is, this is a great question. Do you ever have gig envy? So I think I've talked to a bunch of musicians about it. Is there always a place, because we all have one, we don't have to name any places, but there's always a place I see somebody playing in Charlotte that I haven't played yet. And I'm like, why is it I can see all these other people who kind of do a similar thing that I do, and I can't get in there, but all these other people are playing there. Do you ever have that little gig envy? What's the problem?
Yeah, sometimes I get down on myself and I'm like, what do I need to do to, do differently to get into this venue? Yeah. I feel like I do a variety. I try to incorporate a lot of different styles of music. I don't do a lot of country, but I try to expand the ear. Sure. So I do get a little down on myself, wondering.
but that's not you. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think it's for all the musicians that I've gotten to talk to, we all have to keep in mind that it's not us per se. You know, that venue might feel like they've got enough guys who do classic rock, so we're not going to have Matt come in because we've got 5 people who do that already.
Right.
You know, we need another country act because we don't have enough of the. So it's, you know, it's. I don't think it's a personal thing for us, but case being, we don't feel that way.
Right.
You know, in our heads, it's like, what am I not doing?
Right.
You know, to do it. So don't feel bad. I mean, I know it's us too. Now, when you're playing and you're looking for gigs, I've talked to my friend Nicholas Rhodes about it. He's the Raven the Road. I don't know if you've seen Nicholas on socials, but are you that person when you're finding gigs? Like, I actually literally keep a spreadsheet of places I've sent emails to and follow-up emails, and then places I'm playing. Do you keep a list or a roster of things in a spreadsheet at all?
You're very organized.
I try. I think there's just so many places in Charlotte.
Yeah. Now I keep a spreadsheet of places I've played, but that's actually a good idea to be a little more organized and follow up, you know, because sometimes I'll go back to my email. Oh gosh, I should have sent a follow-up email a lot sooner.
Yeah. I keep a date in there. Like, I've got the column of the place where it is, when I sent the email, so that if I send a follow-up, I know that, like, oh, I didn't send a follow-up to this place. Oh, I just sent it 2 weeks ago. Like, maybe I'll wait till, you know, January, 2nd to send it, rather than like December 31st and they didn't respond in 3 weeks. So,
yeah.
But that's kind of the business stuff that we talk about, that we all struggle with. It's like, this is time consuming.
Yes.
You know?
It is.
Not to mention posting on social media and your websites. You talked about social media. How are you struggling with that? Like us all, what's your struggle?
Just content.
Yeah.
You know, daily content. I'm so inconsistent. And I know that helps organically, with just the following.
Yeah.
I got really frustrated 2 or 3 years ago. My Facebook and Instagram were hacked.
Oh, crap.
So I lost access to my band page, and I had, 10 plus years of effort into that. And so I had to start over.
Meaning you couldn't just change the passwords? You had to create whole new pages?
Yes.
Seriously?
I fought with Meta it was probably a month, and I had thought about not going back on Facebook, just using my website.
Yeah.
And then finally I bit the bullet and added a new profile, both personal and band page. And after that, it's been difficult. It's been a challenge.
Right.
To get that back up to where it used to be.
Jeez. I think I've been fortunate. Knock on wood.
Yeah, right?
I haven't had that happen at all. Are you primarily using Facebook or Instagram, or, do you have a platform that you prefer using?
I don't know. I kind of like Instagram.
Yeah.
I've seemed to have a little more gain on that here lately. Even though I don't post that much, there again, content. I don't do it every day.
Yeah.
But I feel like I kind of like that platform a little better than Facebook.
Right.
And then, of course, I have 2 websites that I'm managing. So
yeah, you got the StellaRising and then your own solo stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever thought about just merging them together?
Well, StellaRising came first, so I've had that website, and then when I started doing more of the solo stuff, I thought, well, I should probably have my name instead of StellaRising when I'm doing solo shows.
Yeah.
So that's how that came about.
No, I just mean, like, I struggled for a couple of years where I had the podcast on one thing, and I have my solo, and then I have my Matt and John acoustic duo, and then I do other stuff like lectures and things like that for music ed. And I finally just did Bandzoogle.
Yes.
And I put everything under one hat. It's all under the Matthew Ablin hat.
Okay.
And then, different tabs. Everything from events to bands to this to that to the other thing. Everything is just there.
Okay.
And it just makes it simple to have everything in one place than to have to manage 2 separate websites or pages. And then, because, you got your web page that you manage. I post on Facebook. I post on Instagram. I also post on another page called Earshot. A little shout out to those guys. They're a wonderful events page. So there's so much posting that you have to do when you're doing a show that I'm like, I'd rather just put that there, and then my shows can be, listed. Yeah. If I do the events calendar, right, it's going to be like, oh, Matt's doing solo. Oh, here's Matt and John on that date. Here's this. And it's, not for nothing, but it, if I'm in all those groups, that's what I'm going to advertise if I'm the one running it. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know how you feel about it, but I mean, that's kind of my thought process.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And I have my calendar linked with both StellaRising and the solo just to give, that presence on both pages. So I don't have to retype.
Yeah.
It's all on both pages.
Have you, talking about social media and things like that, if you don't post regularly, like I'm talking about daily content for IG, are you doing like just stories of where you're playing each week? Because I know that's pretty much I'll post something, I don't want to say every day for like my feed, but definitely stories every day, like, because the stories only last 24 hours.
Yeah.
So I'm always posting like, this is where I'm playing this week. This is what's happening on the Queen City Music Podcast. Those are like the primary things. And here's my events calendar.
I think stories are great, even though, like you said, they're only available for 24 hours.
Yeah.
It seems like you do get more viewers.
Yeah.
But I also do regular post wherever I'm playing. Sometimes I'll do like a poster of the month's shows.
Yeah.
I haven't done that recently, but
Canva.
I do that. Yes, I love Canva.
It's the best for us, isn't it?
I love it.
Yeah, it's a struggle. I mean, that's again, you got booking, and then you've got this social media monster that we all pay homage to and have to kind of do, which always makes me laugh because, and I'm not saying all places, but there's some places that are really wonderful about it. They cross promote.
Yes.
So they'll say that you're there. It's not just your job to say you're there.
Yes.
There's places that I've played. They're like, hey, we don't have a big crowd tonight. Did you promote? I'm like, yeah, I do. Did you promote?
Right.
Like, are you doing your job too? It's not just me.
Yes. Two-way.
Yeah, it's the way it works. So I want to backtrack just a little bit on your original music. Since we're talking about social media, how do you feel about putting your music out on Spotify and things like that, knowing that it's all based on streams? Are you selling it on your website, your tracks individually, or do you just put it out for streaming purposes only?
Right now I have it on Spotify and a couple other platforms.
Yeah.
I know there's been a lot of flack for Spotify, and I've been on the fence about it.
Yeah.
But I should probably add in to having it on my website too. I know I had the earlier EPs on there. I haven't really done anything for the recent.
All that stuff up there.
I know. I'm so behind.
You need to take a week and just be like, I'm taking this week off and just promoting and doing all this business stuff and just put it all together.
I should.
So I came across this interesting story. I'd love to get your take on it. So there's this guitar player from the 80s. He played in Kiss for a short time. His name's Vinnie Vincent. Mm-hmm. So apparently Vinnie, I was watching the story on YouTube. He put out some new music, but he was only putting it on his webpage, and he was selling the song for $200.
Okay.
So the video was giving him a lot of flack, and I was talking to a friend of mine about it, and he was like, who's going to pay this, blah, blah, blah. And I said, I totally understand it's probably overpriced, right?
Right.
But I'm starting to think older musicians who have a following and new musicians coming up, this may start to be the thing where like you're going to have to find out about them through shows. And if you want their music, it's not going to be on Spotify. You're going to have to kind of purchase it, from them directly. And you might have to buy that 99-cent song again, because seeing the way Spotify is going, and you're not making any money from it.
Right.
You may have to just put it on your own website and sell it. What are your thoughts? What do you think about it?
I'm not opposed to it.
Yeah.
Like I said, when I was releasing, it was kind of a timing thing. I released the songs through CD Baby, and so they disperse that, and obviously Spotify is one of those. But I don't think it's a bad idea to do it on your own as well. I mean, it's a little more management involved, but
Well, I mean, I have it on what website do you use to platform? Do you use Bandzoogle?
I do.
You could just easily put that up for sale on Bandzoogle. It's so simple. Do you know how to do it?
I'm sure I could. Bandzoogle is very user friendly.
I'll show you after. It's real simple. Like you'd be like, oh my gosh, it takes like 10 minutes to set up the thing. It'd be good. I would definitely do it. And I think I also use, oh my gosh, there's another platform that I use that I put my music on. Bandcamp, I think. Up on Bandcamp. And I think the more places you're in these days, it's just better for you all around. It's just exposure, if somebody's going to check it out. So Kristi, as we start to close things out, just talking about anything, have we missed anything? Anything you want to cover that we haven't gotten down to?
I think we covered a good bit.
I think so. I want to make sure I got everything we need to talk about with you. So if we want to reach out and find Kristi Ormand, how do we find out more about you, and where do we go?
Okay. You can go to my personal website or solo website to KristiOrmand.com, or you can go to my band duo configuration website to StellaRisingBand.com.
Okay. I'll put that all in the show notes so we can get in contact with you. And if you want, head over to KristiOrmand.com to book her and get in touch with her.
Nice.
And if we want to get in touch with you, is there a certain email we can get in touch with you for booking? Is there a preferential email for booking for StellaRising or for you solo?
My email is kormand83@gmail.com.
Okay.
And I do have a StellaRising email, StellaRisingTheBand@gmail.com.
Cool. Awesome. Kristi, much luck to you in 2026.
Thanks so much. You too.
Look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you.
Take care. Thanks for listening to episode 95 of the Queen City Music Podcast, and I hope you'll go back and check out past episodes. And if you've enjoyed this podcast, please share it with your friends. As always, if you have an idea for an episode or would like to be a guest on the QCMP, reach out to me at qcmusicpodcast@gmail.com. Also, check out our local partners, Charlotte New Music at charlottenewmusic.org, Black of the Berry Lemonade at btblemonade.com, and our newest local partner, The Evening Muse at eveningmuse.com. And if you'd like to become a local partner, touch base with me at, you guessed it, qcmusicpodcast@gmail.com. Until next month, get out there and support the local music scene by hearing some of these talented artists who call our city home.